Hi everyone, before we start with object-oriented programming, I just wanted to make a quick video on something called modules. And what we are going to do here is we are going to create a function. Let's name it factorial, and here we'll return a 1 if it's 0, return 1, and otherwise we'll just return n times factorial of n minus 1. And I'm just going to save this file now. I'm not going to write anything here, so let's just save this and we'll name it useful functions. And let's just close this and create a new file. Here what I want to do is I want to use my factorial function, and to do that I'm going to write import useful functions, and now I can do a print useful functions dot factorial, and let's give it a 5, and let's save this as modules, and let's try running this. I think I've got a spelling error somewhere right here, so let's just try running it now. And as you can see, I got a 120, whereas I haven't defined my my factorial function anywhere in this file. I defined it in useful functions, and when you get to slightly bigger projects, this becomes really useful. So whatever common functions you have which get used again and again, you can write them in one file and then just import that file everywhere. So there's another way to do this, because I don't want to every time write useful functions dot factorial. What I can do is I can say, instead of import, I'll say from useful functions import factorial, and let's just get rid of this now and let's try running it. As you can see, I got a 120 again. I couldn't have done this in the earlier version, so let's just say I had this and I get rid of the useful functions dot there. As you can see, I get an error here which says that name factorial is not defined. So what I can do is, if I have a lot of methods, a lot of functions inside my useful functions file, I can just say from useful functions import star, and that should work too. Let's just try it out. As you can see, I got a 120 here. So the star right here means I wanted to import everything. So all the functions that are defined inside of useful functions will be imported here, and I can use them just like that. So that was one thing that I wanted to demonstrate before we go into object-oriented programming. And one last thing here, if you look at wherever you've saved the file, along with this useful functions.py file, there's also useful functions.pyc file, which basically means that it's a compiled Python file. So if we look here, it says compiled Python file. So the reason it does that is because if I use this useful functions again and again, it won't need to compile it every time. It keeps a compiled version of it ready. So that's about modules. And in the next video, let's start with object-oriented programming. So I'll see you there.